Hello and welcome back to The Matrix. And say hello to my new expensive microphone. Just don't tell me it sounds worse than before, otherwise my little heart won't be able to take it. Welcome back to The Matrix, where we debunk any notion of canon or continuity existing within the Universe. Something I tried to stay away from are fan theories. Namely, because that's what this series actually replaced. Go check them out. They're just like these, but very neglected. But this week I came this close to including a fan theory because I was convinced that the Doctor Who series had crossover with the world's biggest IP, Pokemon. For in this world, the Doctor is a looker, detective for the International Police, operating under a pseudonym and battling extraterrestrial threats. A series regular who bears a striking resemblance to 1/10th Doctor. 2008. What a year. Powerhouses. Is this fast-footed, fast-talking master of disguise a homage to Mr. Tennant? Well, I bought into this theory hook, line and sinker, but then I realised it'd been a while since I played Pokemon Platinum. So for research, I did just that. And, yeah, the internet lied. Imagine that. When I heard International Police, I thought it'd be more like United Nations Intelligence Task Force with a police box. But it turns out in this world, they have phallic, terrifying elder gods to handle space and time. So that was a letdown. There goes that segment, which is embarrassing. But on the bright side, Platinum hasn't aged a day. Although it does say he suffers from amnesia. Haha, gotcha. Pokemon has a Doki Who, confirmed. Matrix, please take us to our actual first fact of the day. Oscar Wilde is a famous vampire. The world-renowned poet, playwright Oscar Wilde, who never wrote about vampires, for the record. But when I think Doctor Who and vampires, my childhood brain goes to one story in particular. Not Vampires of Venice, not State of Decay, Bat Attack, from the early days of the Doctor Who Adventures comic strip. Bat Attack is a story about the 10th Doctor and Rose meeting Bram Stoker, as the real, actual Dracula comes to London to punish Mr. Stoker and kill him for his horrendous book. Or sorry, I should say Frederick von Dracula, the great descendant of the Dracula family. Because, you know, that'd be silly otherwise. Doctor, help! They're gonna make me a vampire! Like last week when they did that. But it's also a story that is predominantly gay subtext. Dracula was a novel in part inspired by the sentencing of Oscar Wilde for his homosexual identity. The Doctor Who Adventures comic strip always was more geared towards kids and as a result was a lot fluffier, although a lot of weird ideas and actual pitches for solid episodes have been found in there. The year 1897. The 10th Doctor and Rose are hanging out with Inspector Lestrade of the Sherlock Holmes canon? Okay, good start. Almost immediately they find themselves surrounded by vampire bats. Because of course they do. Where they meet Florence Stoker, who, get this, unbeknownst to Bram, is also a vampire in a completely unrelated affair. Yeah, we're not talking alien vampires or fish vampires or things that are a bit like vampires. Count Dracula exists in a fucking castle in Europe, and he is not a happy boy. I have many things to say to Mr. Dracula, but I shall hold my tongue for now. But oh no, the Virgin Florence is madly in love with Oscar Wilde, and many years ago went to go live with him in Ireland, where she contracted the vampire virus. That's right, Oscar Wilde was blooded and left alive so that his burden could be passing on the vampire virus to all of humanity. Luckily, the Doctor knows exactly what to do, as every single Time Lord within them contains the genetic antigen to be able to undo vampire conversion, which is convenient. Could have told you when that would have come in handy. And the 10th Doctor creates this within himself and expels it via a burp. Nah, hang on. Florence is caught by the burp and returns to her old self. See, now that's what I expect from a kid's story called Bat Attack. not homosexual subtext. And there's a lot of it as well, as Oscar Wilde mirrors his vampiric curse to his homosexual tendencies. The comic outright states he was put in prison down to a terrible scandal. He has unnatural urges to kill or turn the things I love. To which the doctor tells him, that unnaturalness was you. You were born that way. Or made. Yeah, nice and subtle, Doctor Who adventures. Creators of Strax and the Time Shark. There's even a prison rape joke. Who asked? Who asked? Where does a story called Bat Attack get its fucking kicks? Nonetheless, I love this little oddity. I would recommend it, but frankly, I don't know where you would find it. This isn't the only story with Oscar Wilde, it's certainly not the only story with Count Dracula, and it's also not the only story that the 10th Doctor saves the day via burping. Make of that what you will. Fact number 2, please. Matrix! You don't have to do him like that. The Matrix is getting a bit personal today, it seems. General Stahl, the undefeated of the 10th Sontaran battle fleets, namely from the story The Sontaran Stratagem. Stahl has a naughty little history. This isn't his only appearance. If you really want to go into it, the Doctor has met Stahl before, in the Mr. Men range of Doctor Who books. Stick with me here. I see you turning your nose up at Mr. Men books. Snobbery. Snobbery is what that is. As in the sacred text, Doctor 10th, Stahl was busy trying to invade a far-off planet for sausages. See, I can respect that. That's a noble crusade.
This planet's resources shall be added to the glory of the Sontaran Empire.
Specifically attacking the planet of the Ogrons, because they have communally decided that they make the nicest sausages. Which, you know, is nice. They've got a side hustle. So if you ever wondered what Sontarans get up to in between shooting and marching, it's mostly chats like this. But after an Ogron gets a bit tetchy, Stahl the undefeated is defeated. The Doctor saves him from this encounter, dishonouring him horribly, and tells him he doesn't need to invade and take all the sausages, Stahl. You can just shop here. Just buy them, man. Something that seems to be a genuinely new concept to the 10th Sontaran battle fleet. Stahl decides, you know what, this Doctor guy, he's alright, and they sit down for lunch together. An encounter so memorable that both of them forget it by the time of their next encounter. Honestly, this book is top 10 for me. Top 10 stories, easy. And it kind of makes the Poison Sky a bit embarrassing in retrospect. Stahl, he saved your life. Remember those memories you had together. Stahl's arc is a complex one indeed. Now I hear there may be some detractors amongst you thinking that this is the Mr. Men universe, a different universe to Doctor Who universe. Wrong. Definitely wrong, when there are so many crucial moments to the Doctor Who timeline within this range of books. Doctor First battles a bunch of unruly hippies. Doctor Second battles Yeti in his first ever encounter with them. And Doctor Ninth, look at him, exuding big dick energy even from the Mr. Men version. Well, he's battling Autons and meeting Rose Tyler with his existing companion, Captain Jack Harkness, who is travelling with the Doctor before Rose. Huh. How dare you call these non-canon? How dare you, sir? There's a good theme going on today. It's all been child-friendly for once. Matrix, give us our third fact. God damn it, who's picking these goddamn facts? Alright, it's me! Time to talk about Inferno. Can you quieten it down? I'm trying to do a video here. Inferno is a story I like to keep away from for the most part because I know it means a lot to a lot of people. It's not a favourite of mine, and I don't say that to be contrarian. I think it's a claustrophobic story wrecked by sound design and terrible monsters and bizarre pacing. Not for me, but I certainly couldn't call it bad. I mean, after all, what a premise. After a power accident at the Inferno project, the Doctor finds himself in a parallel version of Earth. One where Liz is a Nazi, the Brigadier tells the eye patch story, and Great Britain is a fascist regime. Wow, so different. Although the 7 episodes of Inferno feel unending, we actually don't get to see that much of the world, as we're stuck in this one base, primarily from the Doctor's point of view. But being such a popular story, it's appeared back in the years since with lots of different explanations. The Quantum Archangel, a 6th Doctor novel, concerns itself with Inferno, for strange reasons. A world where Mel is the Prime Minister and battles an evil 3rd Doctor. Sixie theorised that the Inferno universe diverged from the main timeline about 50 years before he entered it. So the 1920s. Oh yeah, no, Nazis makes more sense now. No Doctor equals Nazi England. Yeah, we'll do that one sometime. But another source says that this timeline was the creation of the Great Intelligence. What's he up to these days, eh? Such an iconic villain that nobody gives a rat's ass unless he brings along his Yetis. My god, that's true. Man cast Richard E. Grant and Ian McKellen, and still nobody remembers him. What a villain! The book Night of the Intelligence actually proposes that this is the main timeline and the Doctor Who-niverse with no Nazis is the divergent one. And I think I'm starting to buy the Great Intelligence theory because Edward Travers actually finds himself dead in Tibet before even encountering a single Yeti. So, Great Intelligence wins, apparently. That's depressing. And then one Oswald Mosley forms the political party known as the British Union of Fascists. It's a good name. Actually, honest. Somebody eventually sat them down and told them to rebrand as just the party, which isn't much better. Oswald Mosley then meets the parallel version of the Doctor, who was instead exiled to 1930, and they become good friends. In fact, when Mosley is eventually killed, who steps up but Docky Who? But Big Brother Nasty Who, if you can imagine such a thing. Daddy, when's Doctor Who gonna battle the Daleks again? I feel like this story chain went a bit far. Doctor Who can and will be everything, but this is a very real-world story that Docky Who doesn't belong in. It reminds me of those Star Wars or those Warhammer fans who get a bit too into the imperialist fantasy of it. Keep an eye on them. Thank you again to Chubby Bub for letting me know that the well goes even deeper, as in the BBC book The Face of the Enemy, written by David A. McKinty. Oh, you ready for this? Depicts the master of this universe never becoming the master, and actually a saviour of Earth. They don't swap places per se, but that book sure do be about the Master and Unit teaming up. Sorry, the Master, Unit, and Ian and Barbara teaming up to save this world. Because someone gave the human survivors of the Inferno world a time machine. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Oh, they lose, by the way, and the Doctor locks up the Master and gets the government to torture and kill him. So, that's the face of the enemy. Spoilers? Look, there's just one thing I need to know, okay? If there's a fascist England and a fascist Brigadier and a fascist Docky Who, is there a fascist Joe Grant? I don't know if I could deal with that. Don't let there be a fascist Joe Grant.